How many of you right now go into 2026, we're already here, with goals? I mean, not a trip you up kind of question. I'm seriously asking. Okay. A pretty good number, if not all of you. Why is it then that, I don't know, they say New Year's resolutions, goals, kind of synonymous, right? That roughly 80% of people have already gotten off track or given up on their goals, New Year's resolutions by February. 80%. Why? They don't have a plan maybe? Why else? What if they did have a plan?
They picked too hard of expectations.
Okay, so unrealistic targets maybe? No wrong answers.
They weren't serious.
Weren't serious, weren't committed.
I was going to say they let excuses get in the way.
Sure. Excuses can have reasons and results, can't have both, right? And you're all right. There's no wrong answer, but I think we can identify the reasons, and I'm not here to shame anybody, but how many of you achieved your goal that you had set in 2025? Should have some, but my feeling, and it turns out to be true, is the majority didn't, right? And so do some reflection. Why? What happened? Was there factors beyond your control? Not at fault, but you are responsible for handling them and still pursuing what you're worth. So I just want to ask that because I think the gap for most people as to the why that nobody did exactly pinpoint is purpose. Identifying your why, right? Now, I'm not going to spend the next hour or so banging you over the head about the big why, but you've certainly heard this concept, yes? You could have chosen a zillion different paths to earn an honorable living for your family and for yourself. Why this? Why real estate, you know? And I work with a lot of people, and it's a shame, frankly, which is why I'm choosing to lead with this part today, that a lot of us as adults don't have more clarity or specificity around what that why is, that driving purpose, especially when the days are hard. So I'm going to hit you with that early on. Now, one last question for a second. How many of you are AI, ChatGPT users, practitioners? You're in it? It's like become your best friend kind of thing? One of the goods, I guess, from AI is, from a coach's point of view, it's forcing you to ask better questions. Prompts, if you will. Because if you just feed it gobbledygook, it's going to spit out crap. And so there's a lesson buried in there that if I ask ChatGPT to answer something for me, I'm going to get the quality of answer based on the quality of the question I fed it. True? How does that translate to our lives, especially our desires of what we're pursuing? Is it possible that somebody in this room doesn't need a new strategy? You don't need more information to be dumped on you. What you need is to potentially ask yourself better questions and leverage your emotional intelligence to get what? Better results, but answers. Yes? So I'm going to spend a little bit here connecting that with us, but it's in the back of your action plans. There's a page asking about your big why. What is the purpose? Anybody familiar with this concept of the big why?
When you know your why, you can survive anyhow.
Ooh, did you hear that? Say it one more time. There's your $1 million moment. Remember the $1 million moments from September? When you know your why, I love that word survive, you can survive anyhow. Did anybody experience in 2025 a challenging moment? Okay, fine. Did anybody experience a challenging moment in the fourth quarter? What about this last month? Has anybody experienced a challenging time in the last week? If the answer is yes to one or all of those, let's think about this willpower versus what I call why power stuff. Willpower alone is not enough. That's like the logical, I know what I need to be doing, I just got to muster up the strength and courage to go do it. But eventually, and in a vulnerable moment when I don't feel like making those 5 calls a day, and I'm depending on willpower alone, what happens? Run out of energy. I let myself off the hook, right? Been a long day. I don't feel like it. I'll do it tomorrow. It starts the cycle. So it's not enough to have the logical willpower drive that we can tap into from time to time, but I would argue we need why power. And again, that's finding that deep, deep rooted purpose. This is not meant to trip you up and be some like personal mission statement, super crazy language. I don't care about how fancy the language is. What I care about is it resonates with you the most. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to write down a goal that you have for 2026. You probably have several goals, business, health, personal, whatever, but just doesn't matter. Just pick a goal, write a goal down somewhere. But as you're doing that, this why concept that we're going to get into real quick here kind of becomes your North Star. The why takes it from head to right here, to the heart, all right? And you're going to see that probably right here in real time in just a second. So again, just write down real quick, what's a goal that you have for 2026? A lot of gurus, including myself and one of my business partners, do this a lot. We're gonna go 7 layers deep asking why. Why? Word of caution, this could get more emotional than you might think. Around the 3rd or 4th time is when it gets harder, and it gets harder because that's the transfer from here to head to the heart. But we're gonna go 7 levels deep, and it's usually right around level 7 that you found it. You found something. What you thought was making $200,000 of GCI was the goal. Actually, by level 7 has nothing to do with that. I'm gonna give you an example that I did yesterday in preparation for this, if that's okay. But as I'm doing this, I do want you kind of scribing if things hit you. So here's what I came up with. One of my goals for this year is to have 44 broker owners enrolled in something that we call the TLR Accelerator community. That's a goal I have, 44. So just like you, that's where I started, writing a goal down. Then I asked myself, well, why is having 44 broker owners enrolled in TLR Accelerators important to me? That's gonna be your next question. Why is insert blank goal important to you? Here's what I said. Because it allows me to provide stability of income and not depend on the efforts of others. Pretty straightforward answer. Now I go to why number 2. I'm gonna repeat that answer. Well, why is stability of income and not depending on the effort of others important to me? You catching on to this? Here's what I said. Because I have found myself feeling frustrated and vulnerable when depending on others on what they do versus don't do, and I realized I should fulfill my own purpose to achieve stability, and then the income derived from others is seen as a bonus. All right, now we're getting a little deeper, a little bit more meaning behind the number of 44, but I'm not done, not even close. Why number 3? Well, Jake, why is fulfilling my purpose to achieve stability important to me? I said, because I want to know I'm making a difference in the lives of those I work with, and as a result, they help transform me and my family's lives as well, okay? I'm at why number 4. You're gonna start to hear a shift, not coincidental, because all of that is probably kind of logical, wouldn't you agree? Logical responses. Why number 4? Why does making a difference in the lives of others, which in turn means they help provide for me and my family, important to me? Because I believe in the law of reciprocity. I believe in succeeding through others. I love helping people, solving challenges, and seeing others win as a part of a team environment. I want to live an intentional life and know that my work mattered. That got a little more in the feels on that one, didn't it? Versus just saying, well, I don't know, I want to provide a stable income for my family, right? Number 5, why is it important to me to know that I helped others succeed and that my own work mattered? I said, because I want to set an example, here it comes, number 5. Because I want to set an example for my kids that they can earn an honest living by following their passion. I don't want to be the person who works 40-40-40 and look back at life feeling like I just went through the motions and that my girls should do the same. Uh-oh, now we're getting somewhere. And I still got 2 more. I gotta go 7 levels. Number 6, why is it important to me to set an example for my kids by doing something that I love and that makes a difference? Because I know that they can fail or succeed at anything. And I don't want them growing up with limitations or seeing me just working for a paycheck, running the rat race and just punching in and punching out as if life is a dress rehearsal. I want them growing up seeing me enthusiastic, on purpose, and fulfilled. Therefore, I show up happy and energetic at home too. I still got 1 more. Why number 7? Why is it important that my kids see me happy, purposeful, fulfilled, which impacts how I show up at home? Here's what I wrote. Because I've been on the other side. I've lived that life and then made a decision to become an entrepreneur to pursue my path, not the path that others expected of me. And by doing so, I've been able to help more people than ever imagined and provide a lifestyle full of experiences that I could only dream of. And I want to show my kids, here it is, what is possible when we follow our purpose, passion, and apply our God-given talents to live a happy and fulfilled life. So how in the H-E-double hockey sticks did I go from saying my goal is to have 44 people in this community thing to now all of a sudden making that about leading a life of example for my children to show them what's possible? You getting this? So I wrote this final thing because this can be deep. Translation, here's what I said. It was never about the 44 broker owners in this community. The number 44 was just some arbitrary number. Most people grab a number from thin air. I don't know, I want to make 6 figures. Means nothing. There's no meaning, there's no purpose, there's no why behind that. But I said, every conversation, every no, I'm not interested. No, I don't want it. Every time. And every person who does decide to lock arms and run together represents my pursuit of purpose. And that purpose isn't about the money. It's about living a life of freedom, passion, intention that allows us to say yes to experiences. It's about role modeling the path that is available to anybody with hard work and commitment. It's about showing my girls that they don't have to follow the traditional path, but rather identify what their passion and strengths are as early as possible and pursue living a life dedicated to those things and helping as many people along the way as they can. It's about showing them what's possible and that they are in control of their life and can do anything that they set their mind to. Do you think for a minute that that's not going to reshape the way I approach lead gen just like you? Do you think that's not going to shape my mindset during the days where I just don't feel like it? Yeah, because it's not about me anymore. It's about my kids, my family, lifestyle, experiences, helping others like this very room.